Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got a lot of vowels. I don't have a bingo. I can sort the rack out to some extent by playing Hoyd for 26. And even more vowels, so not a great start. And there may be too many vowels to play here. I may be better off changing. My H is my only scoring tile, which, wow, it does go under FE. So what I can do here is HAE for 27 points. And I think I do need to play this rather than change. 27's a lot. I don't think AEEI is worth minus 27. If I draw 3 consonants, I'm in good shape and I'm not offering anything amazing for opponent. Can I score even more? And is there a way of playing off one more vowel? 3 vowels much better than 4 in a rack leave. AIA is good. So I do have aha. However, that would leave triple EI. And only one more point. I'm going with this. Well, I do draw 2 consonants, so the rack is stuttering along. Just wondering if I could have a bingo through a floating consonant, only the H available at the moment. But with this rack, if I played off just double E, then AEILT would be a reasonable rack leave. Is there a spot for that? Well, there is under HAE. Now, an even better spot beside helix. Let me consider the X and the L. Well, Fey only takes an S, so I don't need to consider that. No bingo through the X. Therefore, what I'm thinking of, well, I could play double E, or I could play Ali for more points. How much does AL help this rack leave? What am I scoring for AL? 8 points. Does AL add 8 points to EIT? Could be close, but the L serves another purpose in hampering opponent's ability to score off EX. If I play double E, opponent could stick a big tile next or on the triple letter square and get the play doubled. I'm going with this. Well, a lot of vowels early on in the game. Could be a vowel shortage at the end. But I currently lead. And I have an O for going next to EX. So I could play poo. Great, just 18 points for opponents. And I was just pausing because I had in mind Alu for the U, but that spot's been taken. So poo retains the U. If I played pout, I would have EIO, and I'd be opening up row O. So I prefer this. It's not a great rack leave, but I'm not providing much for opponents. Gal takes an E. Do I have a 6-letter play beginning with E? No, I don't. I am going with this. Wow. Pretty non-bingo-y. Again, no 6-letter play beginning with E. A scoring tile in the F, which I'm grateful for. But the rack is quite hard to sort out. I'd like to sort out the duplicates, play off the F and the U, which I could do with a floating R by playing fruit. But no R available at the moment. Well, great, just 17 from opponent, and Grav takes an E. So I could play F. Wow, keeping double ITU. Do I have anything through the V? This is a pretty ghastly rack. It just presents so few options, either of itself or through floaters. Well, I'm getting a lot of points from grab. What about playing etui? This rack leave doesn't look terrible. I've got a scoring tile. I'm getting 17 points, so I think this is a lot better than anything else I've considered. I am going with this. And the vowels dry up. But I have an S. And I have a couple of scoring tiles which really benefit from vowels. Here's the way of playing them. Well, I have fib at the moment through the I of etui. Grave takes a number of hooks. Exo takes an N. So I have nib. But the rack leave is pretty non-bingo-y. So setting up an S spot probably favours me because I have the S, but not massively so. Hey takes a T, but I'd quite like to play off F and B. I'm not too worried about duplicate T. Opponent, great, just 14 points, and, well, not and, but plays in the spot I had in mind for fib. So, what to do here? HAE takes an A in front. Interesting. So I do have bait for 19, which isn't terrible. Doesn't provide much for opponent or anything. But does wig signal that opponent has got an S and he's setting up an S lane. There already was one in column 13. And this only plays off the B, not the F. Do I have a 5-letter play beginning with F or B? That would score about 40 points. Don't think I do. Anything better than bait? No, and I'm risking drawing 2 consonants. But I am going with this. Great, I draw a vowel, another S. Which one of us is going to bingo first? I don't think I'm quite close enough with this rack. I would have fantasist through an A and a T. That's not available. Now, coming back to column 14, do I have an F something something S something play? If I had an E, I may have feist or fiest. And I can certainly afford to burn the S, the duplicate S, for very few points. But I don't have such a play. No E for the front of gal. And if I hook grave with an S, I'm not going to get the play doubled. And if I play something like fits, then I'm placing an I next to this double letter square. So I'm slightly short of options with this rack. Maybe opponent's play will create a nice spot. There could be some 8s with this rack. Am I sure there isn't a 7? If I do have a 7, it will probably play. So what about the S at the end of the word? No, through a G I would have fastings. Just checking this G of wig. Wow, if gravette was good, then that would play. I'm not 100% that is good. Now, opponent taking a while can be an ominous indication that he's about to bingo. Now, I've played this opponent very recently, and I think they beat me. I lead by 30, which is good. Can I hold on to that lead? Wow, only 2 points for opponent. That suggests he has a monstrous 6-letter rack leave. So, how can I best sort this rack out? OU hasn't actually set up anything for opponent, so he's just dumping a troublesome tile. Let me see what Fitz scores. 22 points. Just not a great play. Can I do better? Can't see anything through the V. Fist is horrible. That's just setting up a super hot S spot, and I have to assume that opponent's got an S or a blank. Dag takes an S. I'm coming back to Fitz. Finn's actually slightly better, because this takes out both S lane bingo lanes, columns 13 and 14, and although row H could be hot, opponent has signalled that he's got a bingo-y rack rather than a rack with high-scoring tiles. I am going with this. Wow, fantastic. I draw a blank, and the rest of the rack is very bingo-y. So, do I have a playable bingo? There's column 1. If I can have, well, the blank would need to be an E, so end darts, Darnest, and Stander. None of those work. Where else is a lane? Well, column 12 and 14, but I'm going to look at those last. Ali doesn't take anything. Wow, just 3 points for opponent. So, what goes in front of OI? An M. Well, I think the blank has to be a vowel, so let me consider the blank as a vowel and then look anywhere on the board to see where the play can go. So this is a strand and Tarands. Neither plays in column 14 or 11. A strand does play in row N. ASTRAND. Let me see what that looks like. 73 points, a decent score. If I played in column 14, I'll be providing access to triple word squares and floaters. Here I'm providing no floaters. Let me complete the exercise though. Darnest, Endarts, and Stander. They don't play in row N or anywhere. Oi does take an S, so let me consider the blank as an I. Not seeing anything there. What about an O? No. What about a U? Tundras. Ah, well, yes, Tundras does play. 76 points. It's more points. Oi's takes nothing. I actually prefer this. Opponent has signalled he's got a monster. A strand does set. Well, a strand doesn't really set up a bingo spot in row O because a strand ends in two consonants, so opponent's bingo would need to begin with 2 vowels, and that doesn't happen very often. Tundras has the advantage that it's taking out a lane opponent could use, and if opponent plays in row N, I would have access to triple word squares. This is super tricky. UN and D are not massively bingo-y as floaters, but they're not terrible either. N is not next to, sorry, a vowel is not next to this triple double letter square. Very, very tricky. Two completely different moves, very little in score between them. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with tundras because if opponent doesn't bingo, I've got a really easy play in column 15 to take out all of these floaters. I'm going with this. Wow, I have mortals and Stromel plays in row N. Fantastic. Will that stay available? Is it good? Surely it is. Wow, opponent's got Nerines, and that would have played in column 14, so he had that in either spot. And opponent's taken out my Stromel spot. So does Mortals or Stromel play anywhere? Takes an S. So that doesn't work. Ois, I'm not sure, takes anything in front. I don't have an E for going under the R. I still lead by 40 points. Let me consider the floaters. Well, let me quickly check there are no more 7-letter lanes. Bait doesn't take anything in front. Graves takes a T, but that's not a 7-letter lane. Takes an S and an I. Okay, so what about the T? Not seeing anything there. How about the U? Could be an OUS ending or an OUT ending. Not seeing anything. How about the N? No. What about the D? No. Okay, well, what a shame. I have an orphan bingo. So what do I have here? I have Loma for 29. Keeping a really good set of 3 consonants, but there were a lot of vowels played at the beginning. Let me count the remaining vowels. 15 out of 36. Slightly vowel dry, but still a blank to come, still 2 Ys to come. I am going with this. Oh, wow, look at that. I draw a fantastic set of tiles. I may not have a bingo here, but a playable bingo, but it's a great set of tiles, so let me consider. Oh, wow, 69 for opponent. That was fast, and he's pretty much taken out lanes. And he only trails by 8. Wow. Gosh, and, well, column 1's still available for Egal, and I now have an E. I have Senator. Wow, unbelievable. I'm playing this. I don't think there's a bingo anywhere else. Senator for 81. Bang. Fantastic. I take a 90-point lead on a really non-bingo-y board. Just 15 tiles in the bag. And my pick is pretty good in that it's balanced and I've got scoring tiles. I'm not too worried that it's non-bingo-y because it's a non-bingo-y board. Now, always does take front hooks. It certainly takes a P and it takes an H and a K, but none of those are bingo-y. But I'm just looking to see if I've got a play coming down from that square through the V. P something VE. Wow, I need an A for that, so I don't have such a play. But that's something to keep in mind. Wow, fantastic that Senator went. Oh gosh, I thought opponent had bingoed then. He hasn't. Only 9 tiles left, and wow, the remaining tiles, an absolute horror show. This is the sort of pool from, well, from the darkest depths of your soul. U, U, V, W, Y, Y, Q, and J. Okay, so I don't think opponent's going to bingo from there, although there will be some bingos. But look at this, I lead by 60. And I'm in a difficult spot in in the sense that the pool is so horrible, I don't want to turn over tiles, but I want to expedite the end of the game, so I do want to turn over tiles. Only 4 vowels to come. So only 6 minutes on my clock. Opponent's been playing quite fast. I think if I hang on to vowels, then turning over tiles is fine. How can I do that? Just looking down column 8 to see if I can play something through this A. Not seeing anything, but I'm convinced there will be something. Just looking at the clock, not terribly long to go and quite a few tiles to come. Wig only takes an S, Graves takes a T, so there is a small lane available. Bum is good, but I can't get that to play twice. I'm sort of looking at row D, and that's quite a handy place to play. It takes out column 8, it doesn't create bingo lanes, and it stops opponent playing something like query there. Now I am going to burn 2 vowels. And I'm looking to play off P and B, but I may not be able to. I'm expecting to draw some big tiles. Yeah, is there really not a BP play? Oh, well, what I can do is this. Boep for 26. That achieves most of what a longer play was going to achieve, and I am retaining a vowel. Great. I draw another vowel and the blank and dodge the cue. So I'm looking in good shape. I'm nearly 100 points in the lead. This should be my game. 5 tiles in the bag. Where can I play the J? I have Jest and Wigs. Only 28 points. I'd like to score a bit more than that. But look at the board. Very few opportunities for anything. It's not only bingo unfriendly, it's word unfriendly. So, J spots. No A or O to go in front of bar. That would be an obvious spot to play. Okay, opponent's played my for 24. 4 minutes on my clock and 3 tiles in the bag. And this remaining pool is horrible. So, is there a spot I can play off the J and just one other tile to leave one in the bag? Well, there is. I can play Je here for 16. Yeah, and given what horrors are to come, I think 2 tiles rather than 3 is definitely best. I'm going with this. Wow. I dodged the cue, which is good, and I draw a vowel. So opponent will have the cue, unless he phonies or passes. And I'm not a million miles away from a bingo with this rack, which is quite astonishing. Opponent plays 2 tiles and now has 6 tiles on his rack. He can't bingo. 3 minutes on my clock. He's got an absolutely ghastly rack. My job is to go out in 2. And I feel that's doable with this rack. I haven't considered plays through OIS. What do I have anything? Not that I can see. Wow, I could set something up. If I played the blank as a P, then I could play YE next turn, but I think opponent could obstruct that, and that's a bit fancy. 2 minutes on my clock, and I won't go out in 2. Wow, if I had an A, I could probably play something reasonable in row F. Or an O. So what if I play Doty, 37 points, which is huge. Can I go out with your or Roo? Well, I may not be able to, but I think this score is too much to pass up. Yeah, I am. Are there any alternatives to this in this spot? No, I don't think so. I'm going with this. So I lead by over 100. This game is mine. It's just about a matter of maximising my winning spread. So, is there anywhere for URE? I can play UR in row O. TUE not good. 1 minute on my clock. I'm not seeing anywhere to go out. So let me play UR, and then do I have 2 spots for the E? FAE and OE, so I'm not going to be stuck with the E. Down to my last minute. If there is an out, this will be an expensive miss. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm going with this. Now, where's the best spot for my E? 10 for opponent. So I have 6 here, 40 seconds left. Let me quickly squiz down the board, looking for a better spot for my E. Leip, 6, the same. Wow, look at that. Viewer was available with an I. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything better than Faye. And the final score, 341 for my opponent, 458 for me, a winning margin of 117 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, good to be back to winning ways after losing the last game, and that was a solid victory. So it was me to go first. I played Hoyd, that looks fine. Opponent plays Calf. And now I've got a lot of vowels, and I do need to consider changing. But 27 points was too many to pass up. 33 on offer, but keeping triple EI rather than AEI. Probably not much between those plays. Opponent plays Helix for 30. And now what do? I play Ali for 21. Could have got 7 more points with Telly. Yeah, might have been worth doing, although that is setting up a Z spot. Horrible rack for opponent. He's missing out on the vowels. Plays Sig. And I play Po. Poi is being suggested as an alternative. They're pretty similar. Opponent plays Grav. And now this was a rack I struggled with. 5, keeping the U for 20. Possibly. I do Etui for only 3 fewer points, keeping FIT, and I prefer that rackly. The F presents scoring potential if I don't have a bingo. Opponent's rack plays Wig. So, what was he keeping? EIRSU. Well, apart from the U, that is a decent set of tiles, and he does have the S for going on the end. Wow, sniffed K6. Where's that? Gosh, lips, Exon, etc. What do? I play bait for 19. Yeah, I think those moves are probably fairly close. Mate does hang on to the S. And it keeps an eye, a vowel rather, so I like my play. Opponent's rack has transformed itself, but no bingo, plays OU. And now J14. Well, I don't like these plays in column J, in column 14, because they're providing access to column 15, so I prefer my play. Wow, such a nice rack for opponent, but no bingo. Plays OI. And now here we go. I have tundras. So N4, strands. That's one play I didn't spot. Because I considered the blank as a vowel. But there were some bingos with only one vowel. But I think tundras is fine. Great spot by opponent of Nerines. Also had synod. Now I have a bingo. Nowhere for it. So I play Loma for 29, which scores the most. Has an okay rack leave. And takes out floaters. Great play by opponent, getting a bingo-y score with the Z, so less than 10 points between us. And this is the killer play, getting a bingo down on a non-bingo-y board. So C7, I didn't spot that, a 9-letter play onto UM. Well, Senator scores more and doesn't create bingo lanes, so a far better play. And really that was the play which made me a massive favourite to win the game. Opponent plays antacid, and now we're approaching the pre-end game. And I play Boet for 26, and I like that. Opponent with the Q, but not either of the two U's. Plays Mai. 3 tiles in the bag. Oh, wow, Joist for 36. That would have been the play. Yep, very nice. Instead, I play Je for 16. Opponent has Chi, and here you go, viewer being suggested, which was with the V of Graves. So now I lead by 70. The bag is empty. I was looking to go out in 2. Couldn't see a way of doing that, and played Doty. Opponent plays Vum, and there is no out. M2 for 11. What do I do? Well, I get 11 elsewhere. Opponent plays Odd, and finally Lipe and Fey for 6 are best. So, what a game. Absolutely tremendous fun. Bingos on both sides. We were jolly close, and then Senator went down, and that was such a fabulous play on a tight board. That was pretty much the only remaining bingo lane, and so often you're in that situation and you don't have a bingo, and that wasn't the case here. I had a bingo, I took out that lane, and then opponent was stuffed. There were no bingo lanes on the board, and the remaining pool was a complete bag of misery. So really good fun. Many thanks to my opponent for a good game. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.